%40 tuition increase. This is disastrous. And in my opinion, it is because the state is walking away from its mandated obligation. And you've asked the question several times, where does the money come from? When I buy a milkshake at McDonald's, I used to pay $2.14. Now I pay $2.12. Please, sir, I'm happily paid $2.14 to support my beloved college and university. Happily pay that. It's not an issue for me. If you want to know where the money can come from, ask me. I believe in higher education. Don't let it be deceived, because this is what it looks like to me. You know, it just becomes harder and harder for the middle class to afford a super good education. Thank you, sir.
You had me up until the milkshake. Because it's not just a penny. It's $1.127 billion taken out of the private sector, a 1-cent sales tax, and used by central planning to do what we think we should do, or at least pass legislators. 40% of that is not paid by you buying the milkshake. 40% of that is paid by businesses, about $500 million to run their business. So that's $500 million that's gone back in to hopefully, in aggregate, create that economic stimulus for private sector jobs. Now, the question that I have with Chancellor Thorpe, Chancellor Woodson, Chancellor Peacock, President Ross is I understand the Constitution, and you did a very good job of presenting your side of the argument. We are a top-tier university. We're in the upper quartile in just about every way that we measure. And we're in the lower quartile in terms of what we charge for it. Now, even if we raise tuition, it's not by itself going to be sufficient to provide the sort of funding that we need. You just can't get there. It's just not that great a source of revenue, and every time you raise tuition, you also have to offset it with tuition assistance for people who can no longer afford it. But I do think it is fair, as Chancellor Woodson did when he was at Purdue, I believe, and others, to look at it and say, to what extent should we look at tuition, trying to keep it as free as is practicable? The practicable question is, how practical is it, or practicable, for me to take more money from you all to fund that education for the population that goes to one of our public universities? You know, I will tell you, though, that the university system, UNC and state in particular, generate about $1 billion in economic impact through research. I understand the strategic importance of those universities and the need to continue to attract people to go there and top faculty and research grants. The tuition discussion is something that we're waiting to hear back from the Board of Governors. We haven't mandated a tuition increase. We said that we would be open to it if these people who are responsible for these institutions think that some level of increase, provided that it stays in the system and on the campuses, is tolerable and not materially going to affect the education opportunities in North Carolina. I don't know where they'll end up. It's one of the reasons why I'm meeting with President Ross tomorrow to see where the process is going. And I will tell you, the Board of Governors, whether they be Republicans or Democrats, share your concerns. I've heard Republican members of the Board of Governors express things in virtually the same terms that you did. And I think that they're just trying to navigate through a very difficult economic time. That's why we're here. We just don't have the money. I don't agree. You went to UNC Chapel Hill, right? And you appear to be, and you've got 2 sons that are going to Chapel Hill. I would think that you're of reasonable means. You and I may have a capacity that exceeds some of the other folks in terms of our willingness to pay, our ability to pay. I will tell you, there are tens of thousands of people where a penny makes a huge difference.